It was 2005, and I was 18, living in Uvalde, Texas, a small low-income town you'd find scattered across rural Texas. The closest big city was San Antonio. I was attending a local community college because it was all my parents could afford. One of my best friends from high school, Andrew, had moved to San Antonio for college. He lived with a roommate in a small apartment just outside the city, and his girlfriend often stayed over. Since San Antonio was only an hour and a half away, I visited him frequently. That particular weekend, Andrew invited me to crash at his place. I hopped into my beat-up 1995 Toyota pickup truck. It was a piece of junk, with a broken gas gauge that forced me to keep track of my mileage manually. I took Route 90, a straight shot from Uvalde to San Antonio. Hitting the road around 3 p.m. Traffic was light, and I made good time. The night was typical. We grabbed some drinks at his place, then hit up a dive bar known for ignoring fake IDs. We stayed out late, grabbed some food, and returned to his apartment around 2 a.m. The next day, things took a turn. Andrew and his girlfriend spent the entire evening arguing. It got uncomfortable fast. I hadn't been drinking much, and I decided I'd rather head home than stay the night. I said my goodbyes and left around midnight. Route 90 was deserted at that hour, allowing me to push my old truck to its limits. But suddenly, the engine sputtered. My heart sank. I'd forgotten to fill the tank. The truck coasted to a stop. I tried restarting it, but it was no use. To make matters worse, my cheap flip phone had zero reception. I had no choice but to put on my hazard lights and hope for a good Samaritan. Minutes turned to hours. A few cars sped past, ignoring my frantic waves. Desperation crept in. Maybe I should just sleep in the truck and wait for sunrise. Just as I was dozing off, I heard it, a car door shutting behind me. My eyes shot open. In the rearview mirror, I saw a truck parked behind mine. Its headlights were off. I turned in my seat, trying to spot someone. Nothing. Unease crept in. Maybe someone pulled over to help? I got out and called, "Hello." No answer. I walked towards the truck, empty. My pulse quickened. I turned toward the trees lining the roadside. Was someone hiding there? Then, a tap at my window. I jumped. A tall man stood beside my truck, grinning down at me. "Hey, buddy. Need a hand?" I cracked the window slightly. "Yeah, I ran out of gas." His smile didn't waver. "That's quite the predicament. Step out and give me a hand with this real quick." I assumed he meant a gas jug, so I stepped out, shutting the door behind me. But he didn't move. Just stood there, staring down at me. "I need you to empty your pockets." It took a moment to process. He was robbing me. But I was a broke college kid with nothing worth stealing. My only instinct was to run. And I did. I sprinted toward the trees. I heard him chasing me, his heavy footsteps pounding the ground. I zigzagged through the darkness until I lost him, then crouched behind a thick tree, struggling to quiet my breath. Then I heard him. "I'll kill you, you piece of..." Was he talking to himself? Or trying to scare me? I didn't move. Even when his footsteps faded, I stayed hidden. I lay there until dawn. When I finally returned to the road, my truck was still there, but my glove box had been rifled through. My flannel hoodie was gone, too. A passing driver finally stopped and gave me a ride to a gas station. I bought a fuel can, filled my tank just enough to get to the next station, and drove straight home. That night changed me. It made me realize how vulnerable I was, how dangerous the world could be. But it also taught me something important. There are bad people out there, but there are also good ones. Like the man who helped me when I needed it most.